The date is May 16th, and it's time to run a PFT. For those who don't know, the PFT is an annual evaluation that Marines have to do for their entire career. PFT stands for Physical Fitness Test, and it is 3 events. You have a max set of pull-ups, you have a plank, just a straight forward plank on your elbows, and then you have a 3-mile run for time. Now, typically, I don't have an issue getting maximum points on the first 2 events. The pull-ups and the planks are easy to me, but I'm not a very good runner. I hate running, so I don't put enough time and energy into the run as I should in order to be good at the run. And I've done a long form video on this before, but let's talk about some of the things I do leading up to my PFT or my CFT, which is the combat fitness test that we have to take every year, in order to try to maximize my potential for performance. So the first thing I do in the days leading up to a PFT is I rest. I don't completely stop working out, but my workouts are very mild, tame. They're not going to make me sore. They're not going to cause a long recovery time. It's usually mobility training, some light weightlifting, some light running, everything in order to keep my body going with its normal level of activity, but not so intense that it makes me sore and weak on the day of my PFT. This Banana's a paid actor. The second thing I do is nutrition. And I am not a nutrition expert, but I follow the basic guidelines that are good for most human beings. And I've done enough trial and error to know what foods cause me to bloat, what foods cause me to feel like crap. And I try to reduce or eliminate those in the 3 or 4 days leading up to the PFT. I definitely drink more water in the days leading up to a PFT. I add salt to my water, or I'll get an electrolyte drink in order to help my body retain water in the areas that it needs to, in the muscles. So that's talking about the days leading up to the PFT. Now we're on the day of the PFT. I'm literally driving to the PFT. I'm gonna start it in 1 hour. What am I doing right now? The big things are I try to make sure I get to bed about an hour earlier and I sleep a little bit later than I normally do, so I can maximize the amount of sleep I get the night before. That's super important, not only for recovery, but just for the amount of energy that I wanna bring into this thing. Next is I wake up and I try to drink at least 30 ounces of water with some salt, just to get the water into my body and out of my stomach well before I'm starting to run. And then 1 hour to 30 minutes prior, no later than 30 minutes before you start the events, I recommend eating some sort of carbohydrate. Fruit, like an apple. I eat a banana pretty much every single year. You can eat a granola bar, something like that, to get the carbs into your muscles, because your muscles need glycogen in order to output. They rely on that glycogen to work. And after you sleep through the night, your glycogen is not completely depleted, but it's definitely lower than when you went to bed. So get a little bit of carbohydrates in your body, but like I said, don't eat within 30 minutes because you want to give your stomach time to process and break down that food. Don't eat a ton, and make sure that your stomach is empty by the time you start running. That way you don't feel all nauseous and gross. Warm up is always important. Warm up your muscles, warm up your body. Do that however you see fit. I've done tons of video demonstrations on my warm-up routine and my mobility routine. I do warm-up and mobility at the same time. They're one and the same. And as I get older, they're definitely more and more vital to make sure that I'm not getting injured, make sure that I'm not pulling any muscles, and to make sure that I'm performing as high as I possibly can during an evaluation. One thing that I don't see a lot of people do that I do, which is fine, they're probably more fit than me, is doing the exercises before you do the exercises. So when we're all out there warming up, getting ready, I don't see anyone hopping on the bar and doing 2 or 3 pull-ups just to get those muscles activated. It's hard to it's hard to warm up your lats without doing some sort of weighted pulling motion. And 2 pull-ups, 10 minutes before you start doing your actual pull-ups for the test isn't going to completely annihilate you. So if you want, or you can even do assisted pull-ups where you jump up and then you just kind of do a negative down, so you're not really doing the full pull-up, might help warm up your back muscles that are used in the pulling motion. It'll get blood flow into those areas before you actually start. You don't want to start cold. And the same goes for the run. A lot of people will they'll just slowly walk over. They'll do the first 2 events and they'll slowly walk over to the start point, and then they start their watch and they take off running. To each their own. I have to I'm jogging for the last 5 minutes before the PFT run start, because I don't want my body to start a 3-mile run basically cold. Your legs are not really involved in the first 2 events. And so all the blood flows up in your upper body. It's in your core from planks, it's in your back and your biceps from the pull-ups, but your legs are just help, what are we doing? So definitely recommend maybe doing some squats, maybe doing some high knee running, just really, really light, slow warm up for your legs before you take off on a 3-mile run to run as fast as you possibly can. It's not good to start cold. Okay, but this is objectively the Marine Corps' best uniform, right? Hands down, looks better than the Blues. All right, we just finished up the PFT. Got 23 pull-ups, 3-minute 45-second plank, so max score on both of those. And then I ran very slow, but faster than I thought I was going to run. I ran a 24:22. So overall, got a 266 out of 300. And I just gotta keep working my cardio. I think next year I can definitely run faster. And yeah, it's a good day. Now it's time to recover, get some protein, get some rest, do some stretching, hydrating, and get a couple good nights sleep. I'll be back in the gym. I eat 2 donuts a year after the PFT and after the CFT. It's rewarding.